Hey everyone, so today we'll be covering 4 tips to your sales presentation that will actually help you listen better. We all know that the salespeople that talk don't really close many deals. And the reason why is because they're not listening effectively. So let's get started. Tip number 1, repeat back to your prospect what you've heard, but in your own words, to make sure that you actually understand what they're saying. So if they give you an objection or if they ask a question, before jumping in and actually answering it, you should repeat it back to them so they know that you're listening, and also you know exactly what question or objection is being asked, so you answer that appropriately as well. So number 1, repeat it back. Number 2, ask questions. You should be asking a lot more questions than you are necessarily talking or pitching. The reason why is because when you're asking questions, it shows that you are genuinely curious about learning about your prospect's problems so that you can then find a solution for it. And not only that, but it also helps you understand your prospect a lot better. And when you understand where they're coming from better, you'll be able to sell and close the deal a lot better as well. And so whenever, again, a prospect maybe has an objection or a question or anything seems vague, which you don't fully understand, just ask the question. If you don't know who they need to be speaking to or what the next steps really are on their end, just ask the questions. And so by asking these questions, you will be able to listen better and then help make the prospects feel heard and also give you what you need in order to close the deal better as well. Number 3. Use labeling. So this is something that I actually learned from Chris Voss. There's the book called Never Split the Difference. Also, there's a gentleman, Josh Braun, on LinkedIn that really shows how to put this stuff into action. I highly recommend reading the book and also following Josh Braun on LinkedIn. But the point here is you want to label a situation, and when you label the situation as something, the other person always needs to either agree to it or they will correct you on it. So for example, let's say you talk about pricing and you get this kind of a reaction where you might think that it's a little bit too expensive, and they start maybe just saying, okay, yeah, you know what, like just send me some information, we'll talk about it. And you really see like that interest disappear. So one way to label the situation could be by asking or by saying like, hey, it seems like you had something else in mind, or it seems like this wasn't the price that you were expecting. And so you label it, and now they're going to come back and they're going to tell you exactly like, yeah, honestly, you know, I thought it was going to cost this much, but it's actually completely out of budget. Boom. And if that happens to disqualify the prospect, that's fine. At least you're not wasting your time, right? Something else could be, hey, they might be asking for certain capabilities that your solution might have. Hey, do you guys have this? Do you guys have that? And one way to kind of ask or label the situation is just by saying, hey, it seems like you have some other solutions in mind. And then just leave it at that. And they'll tell you what solutions they're looking at, what are they comparing you to, what do they like and not dislike, so on and so forth. So again, you can dig a lot deeper and then listen and then have what you need to be able to move the sale forward. Lastly, tip number 4 is pay attention to the small cues that you get, whether it's in tonality or in body language, and then dig deeper. For example, you might be explaining something, or you might be talking about a certain feature or doing something in your demo, and your prospect says, oh, that's interesting, or oh, I like that. Pause. Take that moment to pause right away and say, hey, you mentioned that was interesting. What do you find interesting about that? Or hey, your eyes seem to light up over there. Like, what did you notice that made you do that? And just point out those little things that you notice. Not only will it make the other person feel like you're really paying attention and that they are being heard, but also you will then, again, get those nuggets of gold that will help you move the sale forward, that will help you in your follow-ups, in your proposal, whatever you're highlighting to them. You will pick that up by picking up on those small cues where they might say something or they might react in a certain way, and then just opening that up and digging further. That's it, guys. So that is the 4 ways to listen better in your sales presentations so you can close more deals. And what are those 4 things again? Number 1, repeat back what your prospect has said to ensure that you do understand exactly what they're saying or what they're asking. Number 2, ask a ton of questions. Whenever you're unclear about something, whenever something seems vague, ask the right questions so that you can get the information you need to move the sale forward. Number 3, use labels. So say, hey, it seems like you're comparing us to somebody else. It seems like this wasn't what you're expecting. Use those kind of phrases to get the prospect to open up a lot more. And then lastly, pay attention to small cues and then ask about it, open up that conversation. Again, it will give you everything you need to move that sale forward. Thank you for listening in, and feel free to check out the rest of our blogs for more helpful tips.